Hi, I'm Beatrice. I grew up in the Hasidic community. I'm a mom of 10 and left in my 40s. I also won a lawsuit against my son's yeshiva for not providing him with an education. I talk about my experiences because I want you to understand that no matter where you are in life, you always can make changes to improve your life. And for me, leaving the community, finding my voice has been the most powerful thing I ever could have done for myself. But I think you're right that a lot of the systems that are put in place in the Hasidic community make it really, really hard to leave. I don't like to call the Hasidic community a cult because that word can have so much weight to it. And then you get into like an argument. Is it a cult? Is it not a cult? It doesn't really matter. What does matter is that there are so many things put in place that make it really hard to leave. So for instance, if you don't have a high school diploma, you can't go to the regular world and get a job. The only place you can get a job is inside the community. So you always have to stay inside the community. You can't move to a different state. You can't move anywhere. So even if you're a little less observant, you're still deeply connected to the community. In order to be able to leave, you have to jump through a lot of hoops. And not everybody's capable of doing that or wants to put in that kind of effort. And there are many, many other structures that are put in place. I mean, just the fear that's put in. I remember, I used to be so afraid of outsiders because we were told outsiders would hurt us. Nobody would ever support us, which is, of course, completely false. The world out there has a lot of good people. But yes, there are many structures put in place to keep people there. And also, being so busy, you don't even have time to think. If you think about it from that way, the women are having children so young and continue having children, and there's so many responsibilities put on women, even if they don't work, just taking care of the family. You think about every weekend, the amount of cooking and preparing for Shabbos is in itself a full-time occupation. And for men, 3 times a day, showing up in shul, in synagogue with prayers, the amount of responsibility you have make it almost impossible to think. What's interesting is I work with an organization called Yafed. I was the executive director, and now I am the senior advisor there. And so often parents in the Hasidic community are so frustrated about their schooling of their children, but they don't dare to speak up because then they risk losing their job. They risk losing where they live. For me, when I started speaking up, even though I had mostly left the community already, I was living in an apartment in the community, and I still don't know, was there a bug in my apartment? Was my neighbor listening in?